All right, let's talk about how we create a life that is rich, feels satisfying on purpose, magical, mysterious, in line with nature, being in the flow. The last video I talked to you about awakening to the fundamental aspect of self. Self with a big S, the changeless abyss, pure awareness, the origin of every single manifest thing. And I mentioned that the awakening to that is important in creating this life of satisfying purpose and creativity and magic and flow. What I've found basically is that it's the embodiment of the realizations of stillness, of changelessness, that creates that flow. So, in the awakening process, just let's make it practical. In the awakening process, you can have a major awakening in meditation or wherever, a major realization of changelessness, for example. And then 2 days later, you're in an argument with somebody or you're in a car accident, and that level of awakening that you achieved in your meditation is not accessible at that moment. These are the people that I work with. They have awakenings, and then they go through a process of embodying those awakenings. And we do that together. So what we do, for example, is notice when we've lost touch with a level of awakening, and then go into that. So if it's the car accident or the argument with a person, then we go to that accident or that argument together, and we have a look and see, where is stillness in my body? When did I, at the moment that I had the accident, or maybe I realized, oh, this is the moment of forgetting. When the person yelled at me, I suddenly forgot that level of realization, forgot the stillness and the silence. And we go and have a look, and when you have a look, you can see through your body. Your body will show you where that level of realization is that you had accessed, and where the experience of the accident or the argument is in relationship to your body. And you'll see that they've separated. There'll be a separation there. But because we're working with the body, it's very clear. Oh, stillness is behind me. Or it's back here. It's in my head, but it's not in the rest of my body. And when you start to locate stillness in your body, then you begin to see much more clearly where it's not. Within your experience, within your practical experience. So when you see where it's not, there will be all kinds of things, emotions, thoughts, judgments, physical pain. And as we sit together, if we're having an individual session, or if we're in a workshop. Sometimes we're sitting together in groups, and sometimes we're moving together. We notice the separation between the stillness and our experience, and we just keep exploring the experience with the foundation of stillness, allowing all the emotions, allowing the thoughts, allowing any experience of self that is arising with stillness as the foundation. We let it be the ground from which everything else, all other experience, is arising from. And simply doing that, you'll notice that the two things start to merge. So what is unchanging and what is changing start to merge within the experience. And as they merge, transformation is happening. Thoughts are changing, sense of self is changing, the emotions are changing. The physical experience changes, whether it's pain or a dysfunction in physiology, a disease. The stillness is actually the engine for transformation. And even though it's that simple, healing is still very much a mystery to me and keeps me very interested in how it works or what it's going to do. So when we merge or allow the merging of stillness with whatever the experience is, it's going to show us what the next level of healing is and the next level of beauty of being. So each time this happens, there's evolution that's occurring on the personal level. So the stillness is the impersonal. It is the unmanifest. And your experience and your sense of self that you're used to is the personal, and it is the manifest. The path that's exciting for me is not to get rid of the personal, deny the personal, but to experience inclusion of them both. What is it like when they experience oneness, when there's no separation between them? And for me, that has been the path of more creativity, creating beauty, greater experiences of truth, more capacity to make decisions, living life on purpose, living life in the flow, greater and greater levels of insight. And it doesn't come from a sense that there's something wrong with me that needs to be fixed. Not anymore. One time it did. But that's, healers and becoming a healer and really exploring healing yourself. A lot of times the motivation is that there's something wrong with me that needs to be fixed. But what I found is when I transformed that, things were just moving by themselves. I didn't need to fix anything. I didn't need to go and find stuff to make better. Things are changing all of the time. And in fact, if I don't have anything to fix, the flow of change is much easier. And I can surrender more into the process and allow the impersonal to inform the personal and create something new. I fully surrender into the trust of that. That is the same as being aligned with nature, allowing nature to drive your experience. So when I use the term healing, this is what I'm referring to. When I say, hey, come to the workshop, we're going to explore awakening, we'll go into healing, and we'll explore identity work. What I mean by healing is the merging of your levels of awakening with the rest of your body. And this is so exciting to me because my experience of unchanging is strong. Unchanging is strong within me. And yet, there are malfunctions or, let's say, disease in my physiology that arises at times. And instead of saying, but I know who I am, that can't be, I go into the tissue or the disease. I go into the aspects of my physical body or my emotional experience. Often they're all tied together. And I have a look and say, okay, where is my level of awakening? What is the current level of awakening? How is it expressing here? Is the tissue that I'm working with, is the pain that I'm working with, is the diseased area that I'm working with, does it remember its origin at all levels? Or is there forgetting that is hiding in a place that I didn't understand it before? So it's really exciting because even though it's always a mystery of how healing works, this process of awakening the cells, the tissues, and their connections to the mental layers and the emotional layers and identity is really exciting, and it creates big transformations on lots of levels in ways that are perfect for that person at that time. So there are people who have awakenings and they just disappear into the abyss. They simply become changelessness and kind of retreat from the manifest, from physicality, and that is okay. My path and the path that I walk with people is to create more and more beauty within the manifest, to be more and more aligned with the forces of nature in order to create in a connected, intimate way that is cooperative. By doing this, I create myself as a more and more unique being. It's like with each refinement of being, I'm creating a new facet in the diamond of myself. And in that process, I become more unique. And anyone who does that process becomes more unique. The more unique you become, the more creativity there is. So this is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about healing. It's the embodiment of your current level of realization into the rest of your life. Your body, your relationships, your work, your purpose, everything. And this is what we do together when we're healing together. So stillness as the foundation is the key, and that is the first priority. And then bringing that stillness into your experience and letting it transform your experience. That's healing and transformation. So, thanks for letting me share that with you. And I look forward to walking with you in your own healing process.